firstly, I want to thank you, Cindy-Louise, for joining me on the show and taking some time out to have this chat with me. And I'm super excited. I've actually been excited since you got to speak to your manager, who basically was able to arrange this. So I'd like to thank her as well. And in case for the listeners, I'm pretty much chatting to Cindy-Louise, who is a singer-songwriter, indie artist, traveler, style icon, and Star Wars fan. And she
Yeah.
happens to be, yeah, awesome. She happens to be a South African artist who's now based in the Netherlands. And I think that would be a solid point to sort of start on, why did you move to the Netherlands? And, interesting fact before we actually answer is that we recently had another artist from the Netherlands. Well, she's actually from the Netherlands, that side. Her name is 96, and we had such an amazing chat about how beautiful the Netherlands is, and Holland and everything like that there. So I imagine that you're pretty much enjoying being that side, but you're gonna find out a bit more about it. So why did you move from South Africa to the Netherlands?
Well, basically, what happened was I finished university and I just really needed a change of scenery. I actually came here to continue my studies. I have a bachelor in music, and I just decided when I came here, what exactly do I want to do? I also had some like personal circumstances to get my husband here, so I couldn't continue my studies, which was actually like in sense the best thing for me because I have no idea what I would have done with a master's degree in anyway. I'm much happier right now.
Would you say the studies came first and then making music, or would you say you've been making music and you were like, you know what, I really just want to professionalize this in some way and just study?
Well, actually, what happened, like my whole music career has been very up and down in sense, which is totally cool. You learn from everything. But I always I studied music because I wanted to like learn how to sing. I could always sing very fairly well, and I really wanted to learn how to play the piano. And that's how I actually went to a teacher to obviously go for lessons. And my parents were actually the two that said, okay, you're going to go to university, so you're going to go study music. And I was like, oh, okay, sure, why not? What else would I wasn't sure what else I wanted to study. I thought maybe I wanted to do fashion designing, but my sewing skills are like terrible to a new degree. So they were like, okay, you're going to study music, end of story. So I was like, okay. And I never actually wrote anything until 2019, 2020, somewhere there, because I just never really dabbled in it. And I felt like I wasn't like creative enough, but maybe because at that point in time in my life, I wasn't open enough with myself or everyone around me. So that's why like nothing creativity like didn't really flow as well as it should have. And as soon as I moved here, it was just like an open burst of like, I don't know, just my surroundings, my creativity just started to flow. And I just thought, you know what? I love music so much that I just want to take the next step and actually write my own music. And I just really love creating my own stuff. It's something I never thought I would do. I always thought I would go into like opera or something. But yeah, I'm glad that it turned out this way.
Would you say that the fact that your parents were the ones that were like, hey, go study music, that is something that is not really common? Because you'll find that most parents, they want their child to go, study law, become a doctor, become a teacher, the general stuff. And your parents are like, hey, go study music. Would you say they've had sort of like a hand when it comes to your music? Obviously, besides them being like, hey, go study music, what other role have they played in sort of motivating you to sort of, continue making music?
I think my parents definitely know me better than I know myself in sense. They were always so like culturally involved. My mom like sings too, but not professionally. She actually took lessons with me. So that was really fun to do. Um, but definitely they both have had a huge impact. They always surrounded with me with a lot of culture. They both really love listening to music. They're both just really so supportive. I couldn't do anything I do without my parents because they're really my pillars. I actually wrote a song for them in my album Humanity, just to say thank you and just to like really express how much it means that they always support me and they always just know what like the best way for me is, because like, you know, in your teenage years you don't know what you're doing with your life, and it's just really important, at least for me, that they were so supportive and they just really guided me in a way that was, you know, kind of like pushy but in a healthy growing way of what do you want to do and what makes you happy, rather than thinking, okay, what's gonna like set you up for life, you know.
Makes a lot of sense. You know, on Sludge Underground, we are huge fans of obviously the artists, but we're also huge fans of the moms as well. I mean, it's crazy that you mentioned that your mom's a vocalist. I am inviting both you and your mom on the show in the future for a second go at it because she sings as well. And I think you guys, you know, considering how good you are as a vocalist, and you said that you guys, you know, train together when it comes to singing, I believe that you guys could make some magic together, like on a track or something. Is that something you've ever thought of?
Definitely. I really, you know, my mom's a little shy, but she's got like so much like showbiz. Like whenever we used to perform together, she would just like outshine everyone. She's just got such a personality. It's fantastic. And I really learned from her because like when I started out, I was very shy and she's like, no, no, just go, just be like the superstar you are. And, you know, I do some stuff sometimes with her, like on my TikTok account where I sing with her because I just love sharing music. And I think when my mom and I sing together, it just brings so much peace over the both of us. And we just really love performing together. We love singing together. For all my exams, I didn't actually have anyone to sing with because, you know, the singing business is very fun sometimes and you have some interesting people. So
Yeah.
my mom was like, oh, you know, screw that, then I'll sing with you. So she really did like all my duets with me just so that I could like get past my grades. She was just
Oh,
really
so
cool.
sweet. That is the sweetest thing ever. And you know, one of the things that people, you know, never really sort of notice or look at in depth is, you know, the whole team. I know you've got Cindy-Louise, who is obviously the artist, the musician. You know, she's at the front end of everything. She's the face, you know, of, you know, what you're doing as an artist. But then earlier I even mentioned, you know, the very person that reached out to us, you know, being Monica Stain. I want to know what role she plays, you know, in your music career, and how helpful, you know, it has been having someone, you know, who's able to reach out and make all these sort of connections for you.
I just have to say, like, thank you so much to my amazing team, of course, because I promise you, it takes like a village to really like run a brand. Because Cindy-Louise, like, it's not only me, it's my whole team. You know, we all want the best for the brand. And I really couldn't do it without them because, you know, there are so many components to being an artist and to really getting your music like on the charts, you know, because of course you need the marketing and the PR. You need, it's not just like, oh, the song is great, you know, that's very much important, but if you don't have an amazing team who really believes in you, standing behind you, then it's very difficult to really get your music out there. So I'm just so thankful that, you know, of course I have my amazing team reaching out to wonderful people like yourself.
Yeah, I mean, the role that, you know, everyone plays, you know, cannot be, you know, overlooked at all. And I really appreciate that you know, you're able to, I mean, the fact that you say that it takes a village, you know, to run a brand. This is in line with something that Tekla of Tex in the City, when we had her on, she said the exact same thing. So I think even for someone who's even thinking or listening to this and thinking about building a brand, it's definitely some good advice, and that, you know, it takes a village to run that. A really interesting point, obviously, when, you know, we were communicating prior to this interview, was the single. You know, that's how I basically, you know, got to know about you, and it was the first, you know, song that I listened to, being Femme Fatale, which is currently on around 60K YouTube views. Props to you for that one. That is really massive. So what I really want to know is, you know, before you released Femme Fatale, did you expect that you would be sitting at 60K YouTube views in a couple of months?
You never know. You never know what's going to happen. That's why, especially when I start writing a song, I definitely keep in mind of what is my vision for it. Because of course, I really care what the listeners think, and I really want people to love my music and connect to it because that's why I share it, you know. But on the other hand, if you write something thinking, oh, this is going to be a hit because it sounds like this person or that artist, then it's very difficult to keep the straight and narrow. I think what's really important is just to develop your own sound and really know like what you want to do as an artist and really stay focused to that. And sometimes it could be like amazing, like, you know, Femme Fatale, I was just so not, you know, of course I'm shocked. I just love that people love my music. That's like all I care about, you know. I love that, especially most of the charts are women, because that's who I wrote it for. I wrote it to like empower the fellow woman, you know? So you just never know. And I'm just really happy, of course.
I'm really happy that you mentioned, you know, and said the reason as to why you wrote it, and that the aim was to empower, you know, fellow, you know, women. I was actually gonna pick out some of the lyrics that you dropped in there, and I was gonna ask you about, you know, what was sort of going through your mind when you were writing, you know, some of these down. And obviously now with your explanation, you know, a lot of it actually makes sense, and that it's more of a woman empowerment type thing. Especially in the line where you say, you know, I'm a badass chick, honey, you know, you can't stop me if you tried, you know, things like that. I can see, you know, being motivating, you know, to women and empowering them. But then you get a line like, you should have known better than to trust a woman like me. So that got me thinking, like, you know, what is Cindy-Louise trying to tell us here? You know, break that line down for me.
Of course, not a problem. So, what I mean by that line is a lot of the time in the work industry or in any other circumstance in life, I do sometimes feel like, you know, it still exists that there's a lot of like sexism of, oh, yeah, the woman should be in the kitchen. And I think like, I don't even know how that kind of like, you know, mentality still exists in like 2021, you know, I just don't understand, but it does, unfortunately. And what I mean by that is, you know, you may think we're all sweet and kind because we're so like, oh, look, you know, with our little high heels and we're so sassy, but like, watch out, you know, because you might be turning your eye and we're just going to take over the world. And you should have like never thought that, you know, you could underestimate us. And that's basically what it's about.
You put things into perspective there. You explained it really well. You know, it makes a lot of sense, and it goes, you know, hand in hand with what your aim was. And I think another thing that's in line, you know, with your aim was obviously the music video. You know, you're very bold in there, very powerful figure. Did a lot of that sort of thinking and your aim go into, you know, the work that went into, you know, making the music video and directing it and all that there? Who did you work with, and how did you guys sort of, you know, come up with the concept that you guys have in the music video?
So when I was doing the music video, no doubt in my mind, I just knew I needed a woman as a director because I wanted it, of course, to be like very sultry because it's a sexy song, you know, and like being sexy is powerful. There's no shame of that. And I knew that a woman had to direct it because I didn't want it to be like a man's fantasy, you know. I wanted it to be like a woman's watching it and going, wow, you know, what a badass chick. Yeah, I also want to do that. I also want to look like that. I also want to feel empowered. So I worked with Manda Production. I've worked with them before. They're a filming company in the Netherlands, and I just really love working with them. And the director is Antonia Ackermans, and she just really knows exactly what I want. Like I can show her the music and she'll listen to it and she'll say, yeah, I know exactly what we're going to do. I know what place we're going to go. And I describe to her, of course, what the song's about, what I want from it. I also make like, you know, a mood board of, okay, I want these colors. Of course, it has to be brand orientated. That's why there's a lot of pinks, reds, and purples. That's very much in tune with my brand. And I worked very closely also with the makeup artist and the stylist because I just really, the makeup had to also be right. You know, the whole look had to be right because it's only me in the music video and I didn't have any other, you know, dancers or any other factor. It was really important to get that right too. And that's why a lot of my makeup has like red lips because, of course, you know, that's also in the song. And you'll see on like every fashion blog, people say like a red lip just pulls the whole outfit together and you just feel empowered by that red lip. You know, you just have that oomph with that color. So that really had to be in there too. And the makeup artist that I worked with is Alina Stefan.
You know, I think you guys did a really good job, with, getting the music video in line with what the aim of the track was. Sonically, and in terms of the actual sound now, music can be interpreted in, different ways. As much as the lyrical content, has a certain message and a certain aim, I can tell you that, I, for one, like when I was listening to the music and the sounds that you chose, and the production and all that there. For some odd reason, all I could think about was this being in a James Bond movie. It just automatically took me to that kind of scenery, Bond girls, action. And I feel like you've coupled it up with a really strong, message and all that, which is really dope. So I'm wanting to know who is sort of in charge of, producing the actual, track that you got on, when it comes to vocals and stuff, and who was sort of driving that sort of direction.
So it goes very hand in hand with myself, obviously my parents, because I have to ask their opinion. My husband has a huge influence on my music because he's not musically trained or anything, but of course he's like an objective listener, so he knows like what kind of music he likes and he knows what kind of vision I'm going for. And he's also very much a kind of, visual person of, okay, when you close your eyes, like, what do you imagine? What do you hear? Go listen to this song. What are the backings? And what do you want to put together with this piece? I also rely a lot on my sound technician, which is Frank de Jong. He's at Hell 5 Studio. And he really takes the time to sit with me and go through all the methods of recording. We break up the song and we say, okay, where are we going to start? What exactly do I want it to sound like? What is the song about? What do I want to layer? Do I want harmonization? What do I want the end result? What is that in my mind? And how can we get from point A to point B? And then we have a lot of like in-betweens, which we send to my mixing and mastering guy, which is Clinton Nicholas Watts. I love working with him. He just always amazes me with his artistry. And then of course, I have an instrumental, advisor and also someone who helps me with the instrumentation and all the additional instrumentation, which is Andres Hiepers. I love working with him too, because he really also, again, takes the time to really like feel the music, because like from point A to point B is like quite a step, so it's really a process. And I really urge artists when they're working with additional instrumentation artists and also with mixing and mastering specialists to really know them and really build a relationship with them and really take the time to like get to know what exactly you want your project to be. Because if you're not 100% happy with the outcome, then it's really not going to, do well, and you're not going to be happy. And everyone wants to be happy, because if the artist is happy, then your whole team is also happy.
The one thing that I really appreciate with, what you're doing is that you're putting it all in perspective now, obviously, but everything about, your moves and your social media pages is very professional. The music videos are professional. The music sounds really professional. And now that you're explaining that, what, you've got the whole team, you're working with various people, it's really impressive. And I think that, the end product, sort of shows that, what, they actually, there's a lot of really dope people who know what they're doing, that are behind the scenes pushing this, and you do a really good job at sort of executing that. What I really want to know is, it's already difficult, or well, I guess it depends on different people's experiences, but one might say that it's kind of difficult making the sorts that or the kinds of connections that you've made with people that side here in South Africa. So how were you able to then move to a completely different country and make all these connections? Like, how did you make this possible?
I must admit, it's very difficult. I mean, even when I was living in South Africa, it's very difficult because, when you're starting, you think, okay, where do I even begin? You first need to do the research of who exactly you need for what, because if you studied singing, great, but like the music industry is a whole nother ball game. You might be able to sing, but you need like 5 million other factors that you didn't even consider. And once you found what you need, then of course you need someone you trust that's also very important. And I think a lot of the time I very much go to my friends who are also musicians and who are also in the industry. And how I met Clinton and Andre is I asked someone who I knew growing up, and he was also making his own music. His name's Eric, fantastic guitarist. And I asked him, I really want to make a song or an album, but I have no idea where even to start. So actually my mixing and mastering specialist and my additional instrumentation specialist are from South Africa. And I just recorded my work here in the Netherlands. So I was actually supposed to come back to South Africa for my album, but then obviously COVID hit, so I couldn't. So that's how I also met Frank, who is my recording studio guy, my sound guy.
That's really impressive. Yeah. No,
it's very difficult though, to like, because everyone's so cliquey, which is completely fine. But I just wish everyone was a little more open, but I understand why everyone's so private too. That's why, especially on my social media, I really do try tag everyone and show everyone what I'm doing and what exactly it consists of. Because when you look through like all these other singers, you're like, oh, I just see this and I see the end product, and you don't understand the like whole in between, man.
Exactly.
So I really try and be as like open as possible, so that I'm like, hey, I'm writing a new song. These are the steps that I took.
When you mentioned that it's very clicky, is that sort of like something that's very much prominent in the Netherlands as well, or would you say it's something that you experienced more this side?
No, I think it's everywhere in the music industry, because it's very difficult to get in the inner circle in sense, because you need to find the right person for you. So you could meet someone on the street that's just like, hey, I'm a DJ or something like that. Or you can find someone on the internet, and that may work for you. And everyone is professional to some degree, but for me, it's very important to find the right people to produce my music. And that's where it becomes really clicky, because it's really like inner circle, and to like get in the inner circle, to even like somehow research or get this guy's information and try email them if they even answer the email is very difficult.
But I'm actually glad that, someone like yourself is able to sort of not follow what these artists are doing, and that you actually, credit everyone and you let everyone in on all the steps that it took. Because I feel like as much as you can see the issue, you've identified what the problem is, but you basically, with the move that you're doing, you've got a solution to all that, and that you're not following what they're doing and copying them, but you're basically, showing people that it's actually beneficial, tagging all these people, that worked on, something particular that you've done and everything. And I feel like you're leading by example. So it's something really dope to actually take from what you're doing. I admire that.
Oh, thank you so much. I really do try to credit everyone, because, everyone puts their heart and soul. And I really know everyone I work with in some kind of, personal level. So I really do want them also to like, spray out and sense and like meet new people. And also, I find it very difficult for singers like myself when you're starting out to really be taken seriously in sense. I mean, now everything's going pretty great for me, but in the beginning it was like such a mission to even get someone to look at my demos, So I really want singers, if they really want to go on my Instagram, see who I tagged, maybe contact the people I worked with. If, then it's up to, of course, those individuals to see if they want to take them on as a client. But I'm like I said to you, I'm an open book. You can ask me anything. I'm more than happy to like comment. I love the people I work with, and I also want their talents to shine as much as I shine, because we're all a team at the end of the day.
Yeah, that is very beautiful. I think since we've touched a bit on Femme Fatale, we haven't actually done this in a while, but I would like for us to play, even if it's a little sound bite, of the track, for people to familiarize themselves with it if they haven't heard it. So yeah, to anyone listening to this, we're about to play Femme Fatale, and then we're going to jump in and continue the interview with Cindy-Louise thereafter. So just keep listening.
Red lips and a beautiful smile, nicely dressed, but you never would have guessed the power we hold. 1, 2, 3 fold. Guess what's coming next? to trust a woman like me. Drive you insane and bring you to your knees. Yeah, you should have known better than to trust a woman like me. I won't ask your permission, won't sit on the side. I'm a badass chick running. You can't stop me if you try. Never trust, never trust, never trust, never trust, never trust a woman like me.
How are you feeling? Are you all right?
I'm perfect. I really am. I love talking to you. Thank you.
Sweet, sweet. I actually never introduced myself. My name is Nasiphi, and I just do this as a hobby on my side.
Oh, it's so nice to meet you. Thank you also so much for taking the time to talk to me. I love, it doesn't even have to be about my music. I just love talking about music. I'm really passionate about all the ins and outs. And then sometimes I just bore everyone. They're like, yeah, we don't care. We just like the song.
No, I'm very much interested. Like I'm enjoying this so far. So I'm super stoked for us to keep it going and to actually release it as well. We obviously, just listen to Femme Fatale, and I want to sort of focus now on your next single, which is obviously Rise Up, which is fast approaching the 40K mark. This is incredible, Cindy-Louise. Like, what is your secret? Because so many people find it difficult to sort of penetrate, the YouTube sort of algorithm and be able to sort of get, as many views as you've been getting. Is there a secret formula, that you've got going, or is it purely based on, your music videos are dope quality, they're super dope, the music is really good? Is that all it takes, or is there a lot more to it?
I think it's definitely a bit of both. I mean, if you're talking about like algorithm and all of that information, it's a nightmare to figure out. I honestly spend nights until like probably, I don't even know, probably like 1 o'clock in the morning, just researching that kind of stuff, because it does play a huge role in social media, especially. But I think definitely your video and your music has to be high quality. You have to work with professionals if you want to do it professionally. I think obviously if it's a hobby, it is very expensive and it's very tiresome too. It's not always only about the expense, but it takes a lot out of you to really commit and to make good music and good videos to go with it. I'm a very visual person, and although I do show a lot of behind the scenes, like you guys only see like maybe 1/8 of what I do. Like I'm constantly thinking about it, constantly researching, busy. I think that's definitely one part of it. If you definitely wanted to focus on the more social media side of things, it's very important that you stay consistent. You have to stay consistent with good quality videos too. For instance, now I'm busy like getting into the whole TikTok trend. I'm sad I didn't start earlier because, it's just really fun to do. But you have to stay consistent. You have to make good videos, stay consistent. And also, I think it's very important that you're just yourself, that you're just open and yourself, and you just show people who you are, because they'll really love you if you do. Everyone's human and everyone just wants to like connect with one another. And that's what I also really love about TikTok. Like everyone is chatting with one another. Of course, you get like trolls, but you get that everywhere, but it's really like a kind of like family and like frenzy of, just being with one another. Of course, I'm not promoting that you are on your phone 5 million times a day, but what I am promoting is like, get your phone, be creative, make little clips, be fun. For me, I really enjoy singing covers, which I'm going to be doing more of now, because I really want people to hear my voice, and obviously they very much like it, which I'm very happy of because I did study quite some time to get it to where it is. So I am glad that they like it. And that's what I'm going to be doing a little bit more of now. So just show yourself and be who you are and stay consistent. That's 100%. You can't for 1 week do like 10 videos and the next 3 months do nothing.
That point on consistency is very important. It's very important and often overlooked. So I'm glad that you actually mentioned that. And Rise Up, being, a song, it is very, a very motivational song. You drop a line in there, find a way to stand up tall, stand in the spotlights and show them all. Things like that are very, motivational type things. So was this very much the direction that you were going for initially?
I definitely wanted a song that people could listen to in sense in the morning or whatever time of the day if they were feeling a little bit down, that this was a motivational song for them to get up to and jam in the morning. That's why it's got like kind of like a rock kind of tune, so it's not, you know, too jazzy in sense. Like it's really like, yeah, we're gonna get up, we're gonna like get through our day, and we're really just gonna make it happen. Because, you know, sometimes you have a rough day, sometimes you're having a rough week, and it's very difficult to keep going, you know. And I just wanted to write something to let people know that like we're all here, everyone has their own struggle, and it doesn't matter what kind of degree of struggle it is, because it's a struggle in your life, and I care, and everyone around you cares very much for you. And I just wanted to write something that said, be yourself, because don't change because you're going through that struggle, because it's just circumstance. And if someone is putting you down, in my second verse, I very much say, like you said, you know, show them all, stand up tall, because you might be being picked on by somebody and that's why you're not having such a great time. But that person's going through their own struggle and that's why they're picking on you. And you shouldn't let them change or mold you into something that you're not. I very much struggled in just being myself. And I mean, I'm only 26, so, you know, I can't say my whole life here, but I only truly started to express myself, make great music, and just embrace life when I just said, you know what, I actually don't care what other people think of me. I just want to be myself. And that's it. And that's what I want the song to also be. Like, rise up to who you are and literally like rise from the ashes like a phoenix. I mean, I even have a tattoo of a phoenix just to represent. That's how much this song means to me and how much that kind of idealism means to me.
You know, the one thing that I've picked up about you is that, you know, your music, you know, as good as it is sonically, you know, production quality and everything like that, the message is very powerful. You know, there's always an aim, you know, there's always a good message behind it, whether it be women empowerment, whether it be, you know, motivating someone, you know, to break through and rise up. But like, what sort of, I mean, looking at the fact that it's 2021 right now, and that a lot of the mainstream stuff consists of things that are very superficial, things that are just, you know, things you can just consume and sort of move on from. What sort of inspired you to be like, you know, as a musician, I'm not going to take that mainstream route. I am going to stay true to what I believe in and have, you know, release music that basically, you know, has substance.
It was a definite struggle for me because, of course, starting out, I wanted to be a people pleaser music wise and just create something that, of course, would just like hit the top 10 because it's what everyone else is writing about and the sound. But I struggle a lot because I'm classically trained, first of all, so my voice is very different from a lot of mainstream artists. So I really had to find a niche or a genre that I really could sing and that it would suit me and that I really enjoyed singing. With regards to message, it's very difficult for me to write something that I can't relate to. So I can't really relate to, oh, this guy cheated on me and this and that, because I mean, I fell in love with my first boyfriend and we're married now for 5 years. Our anniversary was 2 days ago. So I can't write something that I don't believe in, and I can't, you know, sing something I don't believe in. So a lot of the stuff that I also sing, even if it's a cover, it has to be something I connect with. So that's probably why I'm very adamant of what my song is about, and it always has some kind of, you know, message behind. And I think a lot of the mainstream artists, I don't want to say they're misunderstood, but they have a lot of pressure behind them by their managers and stuff too. So if you don't have time to really be creative and really push what you want to create or what your message is, then of course you just come out with something. Or maybe it could also be that you had a songwriter write something for you, and that's maybe not how you feel, and maybe that's why it doesn't come across that well. You know, it's so many factors. But for me, I was just very adamant that I wasn't going to be the next, I don't know, let's say Adele, the next Billie Eilish, the next, you know, a lot of singers. I wanted to be the first Cindy-Louise. And that's why I'm so adamant that my sound is 100% me.
Very powerful indeed. There's a line that you mentioned there. This is my last point on Rise Up. There's a line that you mentioned there where you say, fame and fortune comes at a price. So what was the meaning, you know, behind that there?
Obviously, there's a lot of background into that, but I think I definitely also got inspiration from Justin Bieber's Lonely, where, he just says, he did a lot, he made a lot of mistakes, and yeah, he has friends now, but like, what if you had it all, but nobody to call? Then would you know me? And that's exactly the thing, that it doesn't only have to be with like fame and money or anything, but it's like you may have everything going in your life, but if you have no one around you, then like, is it really worth it? And I think it also kind of goes to another step further, where it's okay, so now you are famous and now a lot of people know you, and the real side of other people come out, because maybe they're not very happy for you, which could happen. That's only human nature, to be jealous. Then they say, oh no, but you're the problem, like you're why we're not friends anymore, because now because you think you're all that. So I think it's definitely the price of opening your eyes and the price of you going further in life, and people don't really want it for you, or maybe they feel left behind, and then you unfortunately have to lose them because you have to carry on with your life.
This is the pattern that I'm talking about, solutions. I like that in Rise Up, with it being such a motivational song. But at the same time, as you just broke down, what that line about fame and fortune coming at a price actually means, that's like a problem that you've identified. But within the same track, you're able to be like, hey, either way, just keep pushing, persevere, push on through that. And that's just one of the qualities that I really enjoy about Cindy-Louise being Cindy-Louise. And it goes hand in hand with you having your own identity. As you were saying, you don't want to be another Adele, you don't want to be another Billie Eilish. So that is, one of the things and the qualities that I can definitely, that I respect about you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I really love talking to you. It's just so much fun. You just get me,
Yeah, we're on the same wavelength. We're gonna be closing out. So we're gonna close out with the Rise Up. But before we even close out and get handles and all that, there, I did notice on your Instagram, you've got a couple of posts up there where you're out here making cappuccinos and everything like that. There, is this like a profession, or is it more of like a side thing that you're doing? As apart from the music?
It actually goes hand in hand with my music. I am looking to expand one of these days. It is something I am busy with, of making Cindy-Louise a complete brand. And with that brand comes my own specialized coffee.
I think you're the first ever artist that we've had on the show that is making their own coffee. So shout out to you.
Well, I mean, a lot of artists do things, aside from their music, of course, because otherwise we'd all go crazy, even though we love our craziness, but they do venture into other factors. I know that Halsey has a makeup line, Lady Gaga has a makeup line, but I don't wear makeup. So unfortunately, that's not my road, but I do love coffee and I'm so obsessed with it. So it's in the works. It's in the works. Cindy-Louise luxury coffee brand.
Oh,
yes.
Even the name is beautiful. What is different about your coffee? Like, is it the like different coffee beans, or what is different? What makes it stand out?
It stands out because it is, first of all, very unique. I am going to roast my own beans to my desired taste level. It's going to be a kind of chocolatey, hazelnutty kind of flavor. And it's going to be really tasty and really fun. And that's what makes it that unique, I'm also going to be opening a store soon here in the Netherlands, and it will have very fun cups with all my singles. Like every time I bring out a single or some new music, it will have a very catchy cup to go with a QR code that you can scan it and obviously win a prize. And I'm also looking into having a little performance area, because there isn't a lot of live performing here because there aren't any locations. And I really, not only for myself, I'd really like to give other artists a chance to just share their music with an open mic night.
This is really beautiful that you've got something going together with your music and they're sort of helping each other out. I just like to say that I'm officially placing my order for some of that coffee, all right?
Definitely. I will get that going for you once I've developed the perfect roast of the bean.
I'm looking forward to it. One final point, obviously before we close out, earlier you name dropped Humanity, being an album there. And I'm not certain if it's in line with what you also mentioned about about you having to come down to South Africa to record the album, and then COVID hit. I don't know if we're talking about the same album here, but just to expand a bit more on Humanity. Is it something that is released yet? Is it something that's still coming? When can we expect it to come if it hasn't been released?
Yes, so Humanity is actually my debut album. It was my first album. It's already out. You can find it on all musical platforms, Spotify, iTunes, everywhere, even YouTube. And that was in 2019. And I think my YouTube has over 100,000 views right now on Make It Out Here Alive. It's a single off my album. And I wrote the songs before COVID. Let's just put that out there, by the way, because I have a song that's called The Mask, and everyone's like, oh, is that COVID? And I'm like, no, I wrote it before COVID, even though it's called The Mask. I'm sorry, So I was supposed to come down and record it, but then it just started COVID. So I wasn't able to go down because all the flights were canceled. So we made it work as a team. I recorded it here and I sent it off to South Africa in a nice little bundle.
Oh, that is really beautiful. The fact that it basically, by the time that you had to record it, COVID hit, and then you had to, work everything out that side and then basically send it down here. Would you say that, if someone had to listen to the album, would you say that there are any elements, that consist of, the Netherlands sort of vibe, or perhaps, that consists of both sides or both elements in terms of elements from the Netherlands and elements from South Africa, since you did, basically send it back this side in terms of, the album and the project as a whole?
I think definitely the music and the genre has kind of like a South African flair, because of course my instrumentation specialist put it all together instrumentation wise, and we actually even have marimbas in one of the tracks, so I was very excited for that. It's got a very like South African tune going. And I think recording quality, it definitely has a Netherlands kind of vibe. And also a lot of the ballad kind of music is very much like the music in the Netherlands too.
I'm super impressed right now just with how everything sounds, Cindy, the quality and the work ethic, the message, the drive, every single thing. I'm so glad that I got a chance to have this chat with you. I also want to wish you a happy belated birthday I noticed on the 14th of September. So I really hope that was, you had a blast, and as well as your anytime, as well as your anniversary with your husband. I hope you guys have many more years, to come.
Thank you so much. And I just really want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I really loved being on the show. I really hope we can do another interview soon, because like I said, I really love talking to you, and I have a very much a surprise coming. It's coming in October. So just look out for that. Just wait. I haven't given any Easter eggs yet. So
please leave an Easter egg for us.
Okay, exclusively for you, I will leave an Easter egg. It definitely has to do with October season. So wink, wink, nudge, nudge. What comes in October? You. Yeah.
Okay,
so yeah, it has something to do with that kind of like what's coming, with kind of celebration. Okay. And if you want to follow me on any of my social medias, I love interacting with my fans. I really love showing you behind the scenes. So please do follow me. If you want to go on my Instagram, it's Cindy-Louise Official, and I have a link there on my link tree, and you can find all of my other handles there. You can also go to my website, which is www.cindy-louise.com. Yes.
Definitely looking forward, to what's coming in the month of October. And once again, I thank you for joining me, Cindy-Louise. We're going to be closing up with Rise Up, and obviously with Sludge Underground, we are at Sludge Underground on every single platform except Twitter. We are at Sludge031. If you want to listen to the episodes, they're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and SoundCloud. We are Sludge Underground Podcast. For myself, it's at Zwane031. It's been a really amazing chat with Cindy-Louise. Until next time.
Rise up, people may say they know you. Drive them away, cause they didn't care at all. People may say you've changed your ways, but fame and fortune comes at a price. And this ain't the first time, and this life is mine. The people who love me will always stay, cause I'm not alone, not alone, not alone, not alone, not alone, not alone. They may say what comes to mind. Never feel ashamed of how they break you down. So I found a way to stand up tall, stand in the spotlight and show them all. And this ain't the first time, and this life is mine. The people who love me will always stay. 'Cause I'm not alone, not alone, not alone. I'm not alone, not alone, not alone. I'm not alone, not alone, not alone. Rise up. I'm not alone, not alone, not alone. I'm not alone, not alone, not alone. I'm not alone, not alone, not alone. Rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up. And I will rise. I'm gonna rise. I'm gonna rise up from the ground. And I will rise. I'm gonna rise. I'm gonna rise up from the ground. 'Cause I'm not alone, not alone, not alone. 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 Rise up. I'm not alone, not alone, not alone. I'm not alone, not